Don't fast forward. I know that some of you are wont to fast forward past the commercials, but we do have something exciting and cool and new to talk to you about. Yay! If you're into melting away stress, anxiety,
depression,
that kind of stuff, our new sponsor is here to help. Melt Premium Mushroom Chocolates. Let's hear it for them, everybody.
Yay! Melt!
They have joined No Simple Road, joined forces with us to help you maximize your life and to help you have a bigger sense of gratitude. I know that microdosing does that. There's endless articles online about what microdosing mushrooms does, from everything from helping with depression and anxiety to helping people get off Adderall, improves people's mood, all kinds of stuff.
Just that alone, improving your mood is worth so much.
Totally. And this is no joke. These are the best damn chocolate you ever tasted in your life.
Yeah, they have some flavors here. They got the, they're organic, gluten-free, and minty fresh.
Uh-oh. That's the mint flavor?
That's right. And then they've got the dark chocolate coffee crunch, white chocolate matcha, and they have a milk chocolate pretzel.
Yeah, and all Melt mushroom chocolates contain 4 grams of their sacred mushroom blend, grown with an intention of reverence. And they aim to honor the ancient medicine by using only the finest organic, fair trade, and sustainably grown ingredients. They grow all the mushrooms themselves, and they are the Willy Wonka chocolatiers that are actually making this chocolate. So, like Mel said, 100% organic, vegan, gluten-free, dope-ass packaging designed by me. There's 10 flavors total. So what you need to do is you need to follow and DM them on Instagram for any questions at Melt Mushroom, MELTMUSHROOMS. They'll send you over their menu and you take your order from there. And because you and they are part of the No Simple Road family, when you DM them and tell them that you're part of the No Simple Road family, you're going to get $20 off your first order.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick. So go check out Melt Mushrooms. They are called Melt because it helps melt away the bullshit. Our friends over at Shop Tour Bus are making the coolest Grateful Dead inspired merchandise on the digital lot, period. End of story. I could end the commercial there, but then you wouldn't know what the fuck I was talking about, so I'm not gonna.
Well, they make hand-screened apparel merch inspired by the band Beyond Description,
That's
the Grateful
right.
Dead, and they are uniquely packaged and shipped with love.
And you may get a Grateful Dead cassette bootleg in your order. You're going to get a hand-designed box with a bunch of extras, and you're getting free shipping with the promo code No Simple Road, all one word when you check out. Go over to shoptourbus.com, look at all the amazing designs they have. Get yourself a hoodie, a t-shirt, a hat, or a sticker, and let them know that No Simple Road sent you by putting in the promo code No Simple Road when you're checking out. You're going to get that free shipping. Shop Tour Bus. Venue Llama is the newest resource for finding out what the hell is going on at that venue if you've never been there before. These are reviews done by pro showgoers like us, people that go to the shows all the time. We're the ones putting the reviews up there on Venue Llama. This is a place where live music fans share helpful insider venue reviews and information based on our own experiences. A place where we can quickly review venues and exchange seriously helpful intel with each other. Head over to venuellama.com today and sign up for your free Llama account and start reviewing venues today. You do not want to walk in with a water bottle and then they made you dump it out. You could have found that out on Venue Llama, or you could have told somebody that they're not allowing that on Venue Llama and then saved all of us the hassle of dumping out a $4 bottle of fucking water. Right? Am I right?
You're right.
So
right.
Go to Venue Llama today. That's VENUELLAMA and become part of the Llamaverse. If you're looking for dinner and you don't know what to get and you live in Portland or Denver, head over to Fire on the Mountain. They are cooking up the dopest chicken wings, pizzas, salads, burgers, and other delicious culinary confections and deliciousness for your face.
Always leave room for dessert when you go here. They have
That's
some of
right.
the most they deep fried Nutter Butters, deep fried Oreos. It's always rotating. If you want to check out what they have, you need to go over to Instagram at FOTMPDX or at FOTM Denver and keep up with their monthly specials, their special sauces they come out with. Their special desserts. There's so much to see here. Go down the rabbit hole. Check these guys out. You're not going to be disappointed.
No, man. Think about it like this. This is the Grateful Dead family. You've all been on lot. You've had a grilled cheese on lot. It was delicious. You've had a veggie burrito on lot. It was really good. But this is the Grateful Dead family grown up, a little more sophisticated, and having been planted in one place for a long time, making you something fucking delicious to eat. So go check out Fire on the Mountain. 3 locations here in Portland, 2 locations in Denver,
and 1 coming soon to Bend.
And go to their website. It is portlandwings.com. You can get your Fire on the Mountain gear there, and you can also order their sauces if you're not in one of the cities that we mentioned. Go check them out. Fire on the Mountain. One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Oh, that's cool.
And third-party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com. One of our favorite sponsors is back.
Why can't every day be like this? No Simple Road. Yeah, no, I've been on that road too.
Those French last names are a little difficult for my American tongue, I think. A little
You
bit.
did pretty good. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm saying it wrong every time. I just do. Hey now, No Simple Road family. This is Aaron.
This is Mel.
And this is Apple.
And we are in Darwin. He's over there sleeping. We are back with another episode of No Simple Road.
No Simple Road,
And
everybody.
It's always a good week on No Simple Road when we have a returning guest.
That's right.
Yes,
Back
this-
in the day when that first started to happen, it was really shocking.
It's cool that anybody wants to talk to us
Yeah.
about their stuff, but it's even cooler when somebody's like, "Hey,
Can
I
I
had a
come
great
back?
time.
Yeah.
Can I come back?"
Yeah, it lets
Yeah.
us know that we're likable,
Man. Well,
and
and
that they like us and want to come back on and discuss more of their life.
And they take us up on the offer. We always say, if you have anything new coming out, you want to come back on the show to share or update, let us know. And some people do.
Like Ed Durocher.
Some people like Ed.
From Apollo Sons. Everybody,
The Apollo Sons.
if you're not hip to the Apollo Sons groove, I strongly encourage you to go down the rabbit hole with them.
I really do too.
It is a tour de force of sound and vibration.
I
with
like
these
how
guys.
Ed said it's a 7 to 10 piece psychedelic instrumental jam band.
Yeah. I mean, full horn
in
section.
a short, condensed, fashion, but they are so much more. Their sound is so unique and so big and fun.
Mm-hmm.
And when they come here and stay, it's a blast.
Yep.
And we just I love you, Ed.
What?
And I love everybody on there.
And on top of that, this is a hard working band.
Yes.
These guys, I'm not even going to begin to list.
Yeah,
They're on tour.
No.
You need to go over to at Apollo Suns or I lost the website, apollosuns.ca, and you can find out where they're going to be. Most likely they're going to be somewhere near you because they got a lot of dates coming up.
They're coming to Portland October the 11th. Is that
No,
correct?
October
7th.
6th. No,
6th?
the 6th. I have it written
Okay,
down with
yeah.
J-Side Proof at the Swan Dive.
Oh, shit.
That's right.
You know, it's funny. They've stayed with us here at the house twice.
Yes.
We still have never seen them play.
Yeah,
No.
it's unfortunately worked every time, man. It didn't work out for some reason.
Yeah, we were heading out of town one
Yeah.
time. We had a conflict another time. Ryder got to go see them the time
Yeah.
we went out of
I
town.
know Ben and Tiff went.
Did Simon get to go?
I don't know.
I know he has
I don't
an
know the
Apollo
answer to that.
Suns shirt.
Yeah, I think he did, actually.
I don't know. But anyway, we love the Apollo Suns. When you come, there's so much fun. And I just love how honest you are, Ed. So much, seeing you and seeing how real
Mhm.
the career of a musician and tour manager and everything else, band leader, is. Like, I just have a lot of respect for you, and I think you're doing an excellent job. And while you're doing it, you need to know that,
Yeah,
we've seen you on the phone doing the budget, making food. Like, you're just, you're really doing it. And I'm proud of you, and I'm proud to be a friend of yours.
Same.
He's a great leader. Like when he was here before, we kind of compared him to our conductor sitting here, and
You and Aaron can be
even down
brothers.
to as much as he loves coffee.
That's what I was going to say. Anybody that
Aaron-
loves
Well,
coffee
he talks
as
about
much
it
as
here
me.
where he's
Yeah, Aaron's it's like
changing that.
8:30 at night. He's like, "You want a cup?" And he's like, and it gives Aaron a reason to brew some more. And
Anybody
Ed,
that
we
loves
love
it
you.
as much as me, he's got to be all right.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
And the other cool thing that you'll hear us talk about in here is they have an album coming out on September 22nd. You can go over, you can listen to 2 singles that are out now, but the whole thing will be dropping on September 22nd.
What's the name of the album?
Departures.
All right.
Departures.
Well, I wonder where we're departing from. Are we departing from
okay.
the norm?
This is one more thing that Ed said that was my favorite. Punch up. And you guys have to listen to the interview for this.
That's a good quote from this one. All right, let's get him to the interview, kids.
All right.
Follow No Simple Road at No Simple Road on the social media platforms. Go to www.nosimpleroad.com and get yourself some of our merch. Sign up for the newsletter. There's a new piece of merch up there. It's going to be up there for a limited time only, and you should go over and check it out. I'm not going to say what it is. You need to go look at
Aaron's been.
I'll tell you that it's cool.
Yes.
And,
Very.
Hey, everybody, stuff's expensive. Did you know that?
Dang, y'all
It's
knew
crazy,
that.
right? I know.
Everybody's grocery bill's going up.
So is No Simple Road's grocery bill. We need your help, everybody. I need y'all. If you listen to the show on a regular basis, please consider becoming
Our patron.
a member on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/No Simple Road. There is a bunch of content on Patreon for our Patreon subscribers. There's an entire other podcast that you're not able to listen to unless you're a Patreon subscriber.
There's some really good episodes I haven't listened to yet on that.
And I'm actually soliciting our Patreon family, No Simple Road family, for who they would like to see come on the show.
Oh, that's right.
And we're going to start trying to book some of those guests. So
So if you're a Patreon, you can have some input as to
Yeah.
who
Right.
you'd like to see on the
I
show.
mean, within reason, if,
And-
you know.
Jesus, I'm not going to be able to pull that off.
No, but and the cool thing is you get to know
You might.
us better. I just did another one the other day with producer Corey, and you get to know our Patreons. He's had several of them on now, which helps us get to know them and you.
What
Well, it
Apple,
makes
what
sense.
Apple is talking about is Side Roads. That's
Yes.
the other podcast that's being produced
Yeah.
over there.
Well, no, I was just going to say that what that Patreon is doing is it's helping the family community to grow closer.
That's true.
You're starting to get to know
Each other.
if you've heard us talk about certain people, mention their names, that we've gone to concerts and met them and this, that, and the other. We're having those same people on, in episodes, kind of telling their story of like who they are and, how they got involved with No Simple Road. And it's really cool to be able to grow the family and to get to really know each other.
it says that we have a new patron this week, but I thought he was already a patron.
Michael?
It's Connor Booth.
Connor.
It says that he's new.
Well,
so welcome back, Connor, if you left.
Yeah.
And thank you for signing up. And for those of you that didn't, I would just ask that you would please consider it. If you are a listener of the show every week, we need help.
Yeah.
I'm just
when you
straight.
can. Because that happens. We've had people that have signed up, had to stop, re-signed up, stopped again. And
Yeah, it's all good.
yeah, it's all good.
All
if
right.
this is a time when you can sign up, do
The
it.
other thing is our Tepid line. You can call 971-808-1524 and check out the Tepid line. And I think we have. Yeah, we do. We have actually a bunch, but here,
We'll start with these.
Yeah, check this one out.
Hey, NSR fam, it's Dave from California. I just wanted to touch base with the fam today. Mel, Apple, and Aaron. The show today really brought me comfort. Having a rough day emotionally due to some health issues that my mother-in-law has. I had called and left another message about that. And the show just gave me a lot of comfort today, as it probably will for the next several weeks, listening to the new shows, the old shows. It's very, it's just full of love and kindness. I can't say it enough.
Wow.
NSR is always full of love and kindness, and I'm so glad that you guys are out there. Thank you.
Aww.
Same.
And to John C., I appreciate the kind words. The show really brings solace to me in times of need and in times of frustration and emotional upheaval. So thank you guys. Thank you, John C. Thank you, NSR family. I love you guys all. I am smiling because I know things will get better. Right now, it's just a little difficult for us. Anyway, sending love to the fam. Please send love and well wishes to us as well. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
You got it.
So David, we've never met in person, obviously, but I can hear in your voice that you're not feeling great.
Yeah. And look at that.
That sucks.
But
man.
you want to know what's awesome? Through your hard times, through your happy times, you're calling us. That says so much right there. The level of comfort that you feel to do that and vulnerability, the fact that you realize that there's loving kindness here and acknowledge it in real time. It's really kind of affecting the energy in the house, your calls in a very positive way.
Yeah, man. And
It fuels our love and everything, David. Wow.
It's just because of the way that you're very clear on how you say things. And so it really helps us to kind of understand, at least me, it helps me to really understand where you're coming from. And thank you for calling us through the thick and thin. And ever since you've popped in our life, we send you good energy and love all the time, brother.
yeah, believe me that whatever you're feeling from us, we're sending back to you tenfold, man. And my dad used to say, everything's going to work out. And if it doesn't seem like it right now, that just means it hasn't worked out yet. And so everything will be all right. It's, I know that sometimes things are crazy and we get emotionally fucked up and it's hard and you can't really see a way through it. But if you think back on your life, you realize that those times are fleeting and that it does get better, brother. And no matter what. And that's just kind of the way it is. So I'm sorry that you're dealing with that, man. And thank you for being part of our family, and we love you.
Well, it makes us feel so good to hear that we're helping.
Yeah.
That,
All
that
right.
puts a smile on my face for the day.
Hell yeah. So here we go. Let's change gears. We got a John B call here.
Okay.
No! Simple! Road! No! Simple! Road! No! Simple! Road!
Yeah, John.
No! Simple! Road!
Should record that shit.
Hey, Johnny B here from the Delaware. I'm calling because I'm driving back from the final night of Bitches Run at the Garden, and I was listening to you guys talk about Cheese at Edgefield and the other one, Cuthbert, riding your bikes there, and I was like, this is amazing. And you guys were in a good mood telling your story, so I figured I'd tell you mine. Mel, you were in a super good mood, so that was making me smile, and I was like, this is epic. You guys are epic, so why don't I call you with my after the show elevated thoughts and musings
Fuck yeah,
of
John.
Fist in New York City? All right. Somehow I got miracled the sickest ticket at Madison Square Garden from East Coast Hunter for Sunday. The Saturday night, I wasn't supposed to go. Somehow it happened. We ended up in the ADA section because they got these tickets, I don't know, from this girl. Anyway, there was no handicap people there, but it was a huge dance party. Basically, I was looking straight at Trey in the garden, directly in the back at the perfect level. I will put the video I took of Harry Hood. It was the sickest spot ever. And you guys said dance like a maniac on that last episode. Let's just say I had like 10 feet around me at the garden. This is like unheard of. So we had an epic dance party. George and Carol, both listening to the podcast, our neighbors from Towson, and Yen next to me on the other side. It was epic. And the Tweez Fest, Guy Forget, G4J, Tweezer dance party was amazing. Now, I could go on about this, but I'll post videos. It was epic. It was a top 5 concert experience, right? This was amazing. The interesting trip report from the night was me and East Coast Hunter decided to go to the cutting room to see Eggy with no tickets. It was sold out. He was like, bro, let's just try to get in anyway. I was like, okay.
And that's where we're going to stop it. You have to tune in next week for the continuation. Did John get into Eggy? Did he get kicked out? Did both things happen? Tune in next week on the Tepid Line.
And I can just picture, John, you with 10 feet of space around you.
When he was saying that, I was imagining it.
With reckless abandonment, man. Wow.
Love it. Johnny, we miss you, man. I hope you guys make it out for dicks. And hey, No Simple Road family, that is the Tepid Line, 971-808-1524. Beyond that, everybody, please somebody leave us a August review. Please. Somebody on Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, we haven't had one since May. Checked again, but you can be the one to do it.
Yeah. And hey, tell somebody you love about the show. Appreciate it. We love you guys, and we're going to get you to the interview. So here we go. Without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Ed Durocher
of Apollo Sons.
You don't gotta put your guitar away real quick.
Ooh,
that was funny. You're like, whoa, shit.
You've always got something to do, even when you're waiting.
Exactly. Man, I like the vibe of the room over there. That looks great.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Well, Ed, welcome
this
back.
old thing. No, just kidding.
Cool.
You know it well by now.
Cool shirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool shirt too, man.
I love it. Oh, thank you. Yeah. The mighty lion.
Ed, welcome back to No Simple Road, brother.
Thanks for having me. I love it. It's like a second home.
It is a second home. You know that.
Well, we love you.
For the folks out in Radio Land, I guess that's where they are. Will you introduce yourself to them? Because we know who you are, but they may not.
Yeah, I'm Ed Durocher. I'm the guitarist and band leader, quote unquote, of Apollo Sons. And if you're not familiar, Paul Sons is a 7 to 10 piece psychedelic jazz funk band from Winnipeg, Manitoba in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we start, I want to know if you were going to a desert island and you could and you could take 2 foods with you that are your favorite. What would it be?
Okay. Shit, that's really okay. Lately, today, so it changes every day, but today I would have to take. I've been making this like yellow curry coconut soup with like udon noodles and like tofu in it and like all the veggies. I would take that, and oh man, probably avocados.
Oh,
All right.
yes, avocados.
Yeah.
the ever strong avocado.
I mean, it's just so good. It's like a vegetable, or it's like a fruity butter, you know? Like it's so good.
That's true. I never thought about it like that. That's okay. I'm in. I'm taking avocados with me now.
Avocado mayonnaise.
What would yours be?
Yeah, Aaron.
Me, a hamburger and coffee.
Oh my god.
Oh, coffee, yeah. You know, I've been really into matcha lately, and like I'm starting to finally get the taste of it. But I love coffee. I love the ritual. But I'm trying to find that like coffee alternative.
Why?
But
because I know when you stay with us, you are the only other person on the planet I know that drinks as much coffee as I do.
But it gets you jacked, right?
Huh?
It gets you kind of jacked. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. I guess it's like I guess the thing with the matcha is it's got like that caffeine, but it's not like when you're on your 4th cup, you're not all jittery and like shaky and all that.
Okay.
Whereas by the end of the day on coffee, I'm jacked. I'm like jacked up hard.
I said that to Mel yesterday. I was like, okay, no more coffee for me. I'm fucking jacked.
Yeah, you're so ready to go that you're shaking, like
Yes.
you're vibrating, but you're like, I'm just trying to relax now.
So, Ed, man, you guys have been busy.
yeah.
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 How's it going,
Yeah.
man? How you doing?
I mean, okay, so like there's like there's 2 answers to that.
Let's
You
hear
know,
both.
like yeah, the answer, you know, like the safe answer is I'm doing great. Everything's going awesome. And which it is. It's going great. And like, you know, we've been having a lot of great shows, and there's less and less empty shows at this point, even in like the US where we're new. There's it's been really good. The other side of that is being extremely tired and having moments of like burnout in a way, and kind of trying to navigate the how to stay active and busy, which we all love, and like we're all like, you know, like, but how to navigate that, like how to mitigate the very tired, you know, and when to recharge and when to rest, and
Right.
like, and then when to go out and push. So yeah, well, we're doing good. We've had some good runs, and there's lots of really good opportunities, and lots of stuff coming up. That's great. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of nuts. But yeah, it's been good.
You know, you talk about mitigating the exhaustion and burnout, and it's real, man. It's not just a musician thing, it's a life thing. I think in the world that we live in right now, it's really hard to just be. There's so much going on, and to make a living, you have to fucking be busy, and everything's expensive and everything's difficult. And what are you doing? Are you building breaks in for you guys, or what are you doing to help like mitigate the burnout?
Well, we actually last October, I think did we stay at the house last October? I think we did.
I think so.
Yeah.
For like a couple of days. You had a couple of days off. And then after that run, we went down and we went and played a bunch of California, and like that was kind of like mentally for me, I like the worst time. Like I was like super in debt. We had just finished recording the album, and like we had a couple of gigs fall through. that were very well paying, that would have like alleviated some of that financial stress. And yeah, I was like not in a great place. So with a week left in that tour, we had this like big band meeting, and I was like super emotional, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, it's interesting. Oh man, I was listening to an interview with MC Taylor of like His Golden Messenger, and he kind of wrapped it up perfectly. He's like, you're so excited and you're so into the music and this experience, but it's like this existential, like, what am I doing every night? I'm playing, I'm away from my family, I'm sleeping in like weird, strange places or campgrounds or hotels. And it's like it's like this weird like duality of like, you know, you're like I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for what I'm doing, because not everyone gets to play music for a living and go travel and meet awesome people like yourselves and the other people that we get to meet and hang out with and like share time with. But then on the other hand, you're like, oh man, it's just like this like crazy, surreal, not at all traditional living, which is also kind of great. But it's yeah. So after this meeting, we were like, okay, we need to like tour smarter, not do 5 weeks in a row, because we did that a couple of times last year where we were doing these 5 to 6 weeks runs and then only being home for a week and then going out again on a 6 week run. And I'm just, you know, we're all getting crazy, and the van's getting weird, and like the smells are weird. Like everything. Yeah. So we were like, okay, we kind of set some parameters. We're like, let's do 3 weeks on, 2 to 3 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, stuff like that. So that way, when we're in like tour season, that was me pantomiming an entire year, I guess.
I got you.
So we're in first tour season.
You were conducting just now.
Yeah, exactly. So when we're in tour season, we're like, well, let's take November, like December, January, February off. Like, and you know, we'll do shows here and there, but like we won't be out on tour for weeks at a time. Unless a really good opportunity, you know, if like someone called us out, was like, hey, we want you to open up for this, we're most likely going to take it.
Right.
But having more of an intentional break, and like that way we can focus on writing and catching up with family and kind of relaxing and still being active as a band, but not doing shows. You know, we're at home, we're writing, rehearsing, you know, coming up with ways to be better live and all that stuff. But yeah, and that was a huge relief, because man, last year October I was ready to call it. I was like, man, this is super hard, and as much as it means to me and some other people, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And then after that, as soon as I was able to say that and like release it out of my body and like get that stress and tension out, I felt so much better. You know, because I didn't feel trapped by this machine. And the thing is, like, it's not even that crazy for us. It's not like, you know, like when you know, like we're not even that insanely popular. Like we have, you know, like we have some, like, you know, like we have fans and we're doing well, but I can totally see how some musicians or artists or any creatives or any like anyone in the film or any art form could get to a point where they felt trapped and where they couldn't stop, and then it eventually kills them.
Yes.
Or like, you know, like I can totally see like and we don't even have it that bad, but there was a point where I was like, I need to shut down this machine because it's going to roll me over.
Oh, wow.
And as soon as I didn't seem trapped, and as soon as I felt not trapped by it, I felt so much better because it was my choice. And then I could feel excited.
I see.
And it's like, yeah. And it was like when you feel like you have no control over a situation, even if you don't, even if you do, it's just nice to be like, oh my God, I have some say in this. And if the machine shuts down, it'll be okay. You know?
Yeah. I mean, look, you're not going to disappear off the planet. if you stop playing music. You're gonna be all right. But is that part of you that finds fulfillment in doing that thing gonna be okay? I think that's the rub, and that's the hard part. Yeah.
I think it was good just to acknowledge that. I think it was good just to acknowledge that. And then I've been, and the band has been in a much better place since then. And I've just been loving it so much lately. Like the jams, we're taking way more chances on stage and getting real weird. The stuff we're writing now, I'm feeling really good about it. And it's been great. We've been like, it's been great. So, but there was some dark days in there. Coming back off the road, or coming off the pandemic and back on the road with like 150 dates in the year. I was like, oh my God. Like, but I think it's interesting that, because like, it's kind of like the feast before famine. I was like getting like, hit financially, and with the stress of the financials and all these things. And like come January of last year, we got a lot of support funding. We ended up signing with a new label, getting really good opportunities to open up for some great bands. And now we're working on some big tours for next year in Europe for next year. And like the album. Yeah. So it's kind of nuts that like, had I shut it down, literally the next week, there was all these opportunities. Like, bam, bam, bam. I was like, oh my God. And I had like such a, those cries when it's just like relief cries, and you're oh my God.
Oh yeah, dude.
It was like an hour-long cry. Like, oh my God.
I mean, this is, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk about this with us, because it's a really clear picture on sometimes when you get what you ask for, it's still hard to maintain. So here you are playing music, which is your dream, with your buddies, and gorgeous locations in the US, all kinds of stuff. And then people are loving your sound, everything. But then there's something in you that's like, this is the freaking hardest thing I've ever done. What am I doing it for? I miss my girl. I miss my kid. I miss my bed. But then you're like, so fine to be sleeping on a floor because you're doing your thing. And that duality that you were talking about, that's life duality. But when we're living our dream, there's also duality within duality. You know what I mean? There's like, the happy, sad thing, when somebody dies because they were in pain, and so you're happy for them that they're not suffering, but then you're sad because they're gone. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. And so like, but we have all of these mini ones in our life, and like, even living your dream costs something that you don't know that you have to pay until you get there.
You won't realize the sacrifice until you're in it.
Yes.
And that's also the place that good art comes from. Good art doesn't come from being comfortable.
Well, some of it can. I mean, I think that there's a lot of art that can come in. You get different results. I'll say it that way. You can get a great result when you're paid well and you're in a beautiful environment and you're waking up to nature. Yeah, I'll do a fucking great picture then too. And also when I'm in a basement, dear life, and I have to do something, then some maybe beautiful poem will come out of that. I think no matter what situation, something good can come out of it, depending on your attitude and your how you talk about it. Sometimes it takes you a while to really find the gem in your suffering.
It's wild to think that what he said though, like if he had shut it down, you would have missed the opportunities that are you with Color Red?
No, we left Color Red.
Who are you with now?
We're with a label out of Toronto called Durocher. And they've been so great, very hands-on. But they're in like the soul jazz funk band. So they've been like working with some Canadian bands. They did some stuff for Lee Fields in Canada as well, like Lee Fields and the Expressions. So they released some stuff for him up in Canada, and it's been great. I mean, I love Color Red. but it wasn't working out how I would have liked to.
Mm-hmm.
But I did learn a lot. Yeah, it happens, but yeah. Yeah, it's so we left, but yeah, like literally like 3 weeks later. But yeah, Mel, I really liked what you said, because I think there is like obviously like a lot of great art comes out of like suffering and like the uncomfortability, and that's totally true too. But I think it's important to like art isn't just about the hard parts of life. It's also like, because life in and of itself is made up of all these things of like, aggression and force and pain and love and hate and ecstatic joy and gratefulness. Like, like I think that's why I love when I started getting into the Grateful Dead, is that it wasn't just about one thing, or it wasn't about this. Like they have wacky songs, they have country and prog songs, and they have like death marches and shit, like Direwolf and and then they have like Sugar Magnolia and like really upbeat and really like bad cheesy songs from the late 70s, and then you got Terrapin Station, and you got all these different flavors.
Yes.
And I think it's important to like tune into each flavor,
Absolutely. You're right.
You said it right.
But some artists are great at writing those, like Jan calls them sad bastard songs. So like Tom York of Radiohead, she's always like, man, he writes such like sad shithead songs. And I was like, yeah, but they're so good.
They're so good.
Yeah. They're so good. But sometimes you need a sad bastard song,
Yeah. I think that's why we'll throw on our favorite album, right? We want to extend how we're feeling, and that sad bastard sound. Like, I want to feel sad bastardy right now. I like that feeling.
Need that.
Yeah, I want to continue my emotional roller coaster that I'm on.
Yeah, totally.
Or even like when you're feeling sad, you put on a sad song to make you feel like you have company in the moment of being
and
sad.
then that sad song can be uplifting. Turn into like meet you like you get that comfort that, oh, I'm not alone, now I feel better.
Also, there's nothing like, think about, we're sitting down, we're in a sports arena, some sport, I don't know, maybe basketball, something's about to come on, and then you hear dun 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 dun. It hypes you up so much. You could have been.
What was that? Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, Eye of the Tiger. Only Aaron's the only one in No Simple Road land that didn't know what that was. Everybody else knew. But my point is that music is meant to accompany your journey, no matter what the journey is.
Yeah. I think it was, I think there's that great Zappa quote, like, without music, life would just be taxes and beige walls or something like that.
Oh, yes.
The other thing, I saw one the other day that he said, writing about music is like dancing about architecture.
Okay.
Yeah, he did not like critics.
Yeah.
He did not like critics.
So
I'm glad to hear that you are past that part.
Yeah, man.
And maybe you'll feel it again at some point, but you'll have a little bit more strength underneath your wings to know that it's fleeting and it's passing, and that we all feel like that about something. You know what I mean?
I don't think that any creative person that's gone out on the limb of putting their creativity and talent out into the world doesn't from time to time go through that very thing, man. It's fucking hard, bro. It's hard when you're not making enough money, and it's hard when you're putting yourself out there. And let's forget about the whole like I'm sleeping on strangers' floors or in campgrounds, like just that part of it of putting yourself out there over and over again and being judged, even if it's favorable. It's hard, man.
Oh, it's even like, it's kind of funny, like talking about like the when you get what you want kind of thing, and you're like, oh man, like it's kind of like this is like, and it's so crazy because like a couple of weeks ago we were at this like festival, North Country Fair, like in like northern Alberta, and it was like 5,000-6,000 people. It was they were just primed. They knew who we were already, and we went on at like midnight till 2 a.m.
Oh, shit.
And it was just like banging. Like I was like pulled a couple people up on stage and shit, and they were just loving it. We're loving it. And it was just, and then the next morning, I'm like walking through the campgrounds, and like I'd stayed up all night. There's morning dew, like there's that foggy morning dew, that moisture in the air, and it was just like it's like, wow, this is it. Like this is like the 17-year-old me was like, I want to do this and that, and then you get it, and it's like, I'm here. Where do I go now? But also trying to enjoy the trying to enjoy the moment and like take a moment when there's just the stillness of the next morning and you hear people rustling around, or like whatever, you're walking through the campgrounds and it's like just taking a moment. And that's beautiful, because it's like, I worry so much, like as I get older. I don't know if you guys have this. I feel like with enough LSD and mushrooms, I've tried to get over this, but the existentialism of my mortality keeps on cropping in, and I'm so worried that I'm wasting any moment and trying to be like, okay, I need to be present, but I also need to like, don't get worried about the future or dying, because you've done so much, but be in the present, but you're also, I don't want to miss any time. And I don't want to feel like I'm so it's like this whole like this thing swirling in your head.
You are completely singing my tune right now. When I turned 50, I don't know what switch flipped or what happened.
Does that ever go away? Or does it get worse?
Fuck if I know, man. We just actually had a conversation the other day about like, we don't get another one after this. Yeah. This is our shot. We're in our shot right now. So if we don't make the best of our shot, we've not made it. That's it.
But then there's the other side of this, is that if you're making effort, you're doing your fucking best. You really are, because those kind of extreme, expectations on yourself. If you're not living life to the fullest, well, then you're wasting it. Bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Life still happens.
Life is still happening, and you're still being engaged in it every day, even if you're putting the blanket over your head. Okay, you can only do that for how many freaking days? Your kid's going to run in and be like, Dad, get out of the room. Like something forces you to re-engage. And so when you take those breaks of like, you're depressed or you don't know where to go from here, you've already done it, whatever, those last for moments in the blip of your existence of time.
Absolutely.
So even if it was a week of you being sad and displaced and not sure, if you go to a bird's eye view, that was just a tiny little literal breath.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not how we don't live at 10,000 or 30,000 feet.
We are smart and we have experience and knowledge. And so you can look over a million other times in your life where you've done that and you've past it. So if you're not applying wisdom now to your life from your experiences, then you need therapy. It's different. That's different. I'm being dead serious. Like, that things are temporary.
Absolutely.
You can wallow in them, but even that wallowing is still temporary.
Right.
And so I'm really big on fuck future thought. It is going to take, tomorrow will take care of itself. Today is the one. And I understand if you don't plan to fail to plan, you plan to fail, whatever. That whole, I know that things don't just happen magically.
It's also because you have somebody that takes care of all that shit.
Yeah, but you don't do everything for me. I still have.
You can do both. They're not mutually exclusive.
Exactly,
you can
Ed.
while still being in Yes,
you can. The thing is that we all need to really look at our self-talk, because that's the key to how we feel about everything. We're going to be scared. We're going to be cautious. We're going to be preparatory. We're going to be whatever. That's all our self-talk. And so if once we get our self-talk to be our BFF instead of our freaking enemy, then maybe we won't have these weird ass, things about the future, and we're not doing enough when we're doing dope shit already. You
know what though, Ed? You said that there's the moment of walking through that field, there's the morning dew, and you've made this incredible life goal the night before and you ask yourself, what's next? Essentially, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that you can be grateful for the moment and enjoying it and still wondering what's coming.
So you're eating this delicious breakfast someone made you and you're like, what's for lunch?
No.
That is kind of disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
Not respecting that breakfast.
I'm drinking my coffee, talking about order me a second shot. Like, finish what you got, let it digest, let it hit your lips and your tongue and feel it and feel the effect of the coffee or the meal. And then later, when you're hungry and thirsty again, then talk about lunch.
I don't agree.
And I think that's the work that I've been doing lately is like just like a lot of breath work and breathing and just trying to like slow my perception down to enjoy the present, because I'm like super like what is it, like A-minded. I'm always about development, growth, like future planning. So my work is like enjoy the present, enjoy the cup of coffee, and on stage. Now, for me, I go on stage thinking like, okay, don't think about the next song or the next note. Think about the note you're playing right now and where it's telling you where to go, especially in improvising. It's like trying to slow down my brain and be like, oh, like what's coming up in 3 minutes? Well, fuck that. 3 minutes might not even happen. You could literally die in the next minute of like a brain hemorrhage or something.
Yeah.
Please don't. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, Aaron. Yeah. And I understand. I'm not extreme in the sense saying fuck future thought and never think it or don't prepare, or that's not what I'm saying. Yeah. You have to prepare. You have to be like, I don't have gas. I got to go to the gas station first before we go on the trip.
Now I'm out of gas.
There's a way to hula hoop and breathe at the same time, you know?
Totally. Yeah. I think what you're saying too is like, don't, if you're doing it so much, like that it's stressing you out, worrying about the future. That's not good. You need to find a balance, like with anything.
Yeah.
Well, but then you're kind of, my point also is that we're dissing the moment. You like worked all this. They finally invite you to go on this beautiful stage on tour with this awesome band, and you're already thinking about next week. Like, why'd you want to be there? So you can think about something else while you were doing it,
and not be present.
That's what I'm talking about, because I live with somebody like that, and we're doing these amazing festivals and these cool things, and the next thing's like, what about this?
Sorry. I feel like I opened up a can of worms here.
No, you're right.
No,
man.
Ed, this is an ongoing conversation.
That can's been
forever.
Open for a long time.
Yeah,
those worms are all over the floor.
Dude, the worms are on our feet right now.
Babies. There's generations now of the worms.
Generation worm
we didn't need you to talk about this, but I'm glad you did.
Maybe we should start a support group, Ed.
Aaron, you want to be my first?
Fuck yeah.
The first order of business. When's the next meeting?
Okay, let's start the meeting. When's the next one?
I just almost called Mel mom. I feel like you just schooled me on life a little bit for like 3 minutes. You're like, enjoy the damn moment.
What would it be? It'd be like the what's next support group.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Another sad place to ignore the moment when you're having sex, where you're gonna think about, wait, I can't wait to get a Slurpee after this. That's not fair.
A Slurpee.
I just thought about it.
Okay.
But
nice refreshing Slurpee after sex.
It's like all the good moments you're skipping over for another good moment, when the good moment is what you've got in your hand, and it's dope.
Absolutely.
Didn't what's their names? Simon and Garfunkel. Slow down, you move too fast. You gotta make the moment.
Was that them? I know the song. I don't know if that was them.
And feeling groovy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I mean, I like, and I don't want to paint the picture of like I'm not enjoying these moments.
We know.
I am, but it's like, well, I think like, and then like, but it's crazy like. And going back to like when you've gotten the thing you were working for, and then the thing gets bigger, as I'm sure you can understand with like No Simple Road and like the bigger partnerships, it's like you think there is going to be less work or less worry. Yeah, right. Exactly. And then it's like, I'm dealing with way more money, way more people's paychecks, way more this, and you're like, I have lawyers now and all these things, and we have financial. Oh my God, what have I done?
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what?
Congratulations.
I think
That's
part
what-
of it is stopping ourselves and realizing like, holy shit, I wasn't even talking about any of this a year ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I've had to do for myself is be like, I can't even believe we're having the conversation about the things that we're talking about right now. That you have to have a lawyer or a financial person to help you handle the money. God bless, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
for real.
There was a time when you were only worried about your own paycheck. Now
yeah,
you've got
absolutely.
more than a handful of people's checks on your mind.
Yeah.
And
Or like just doing Canada, and now it's the US, and then it's gonna be Europe, and then who knows after that, and then it's like this and bigger rooms, and it's great, but it's interesting watching as things grow. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about Europe, Ed. So what's the plan? Let's hear about the future.
it's appropriate now.
Yeah, it's appropriate now? Perfect. The future. Well, this year we've got a bunch more touring. We'll be in Portland in October.
We're gonna
I think
actually
we
get to
told
see
you
you
about
play.
already.
Yeah,
Oh my God, finally.
I know.
So excited.
Do you have dates for that, Ed?
October 5th
Oh, okay.
at Swan Dive with JC Proof. Jason.
Oh my God, we love them.
Yeah, okay, cool.
We've just recently discovered them, and
Oh, awesome.
they're amazing. They're so fun. You guys are gonna have so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, at London,
yeah,
Jack
so-
London?
Swan dive.
At
Swan Dive.
Swan Dive,
Okay.
which, I'm not as familiar with, but it sounds cool. Whatever. Room's a room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, potentially. Some rooms are way worse than others. But yeah, we're getting ready to release this full-length album, which we've been working on forever. So that's very exciting. And then next year, looking at June for Germany, Netherlands, and France. Our label is very connected with like the UK and Europe. So and we've seen our listeners like on all the streaming sites. We've been getting tons of listeners in United Kingdom and Germany and France and the Netherlands as well as Australia. So
there's something. There's definitely something going on right now with the jam centric scene and Europe. So traditionally, there hasn't been a big Grateful Dead jam scene in Europe.
No, like they went to England like 4 times maybe,
Yeah.
and I mean Europe 72, of course,
Right.
and like and all that, but it's not like they were going out there every year.
Mm-mm.
And like Goose just made it out there, and
That's where I was going.
And
Yeah,
Billy go out there as well.
Yeah, there's a Goose tour that's getting ready to happen. There's Billy
Right.
Strings tour that's getting ready to happen. And I think,
Cronbin went over there a little
yep.
bit.
So I think that because that stuff is starting to expose people to the kind of music, there's a growing need for that over there that wasn't there before. And I think you're going to see more of it.
Yeah, I mean, like even for the last 10 years, like the underground London like jazz scene and Afrobeat and like Afro funk and a lot of that has been huge. And like it's interesting, like because you wouldn't think so, but a lot of the kids, the Gen Zers that we talk to are super into jazz and funk and hip hop and jam and blues, and it's like you know, like the fluidity, the progressive fluidity of different dynamics of life that we've been seeing of like with gender and sexuality and this and
Yes.
like political fluidity. I feel like whenever I talk to most like Gen Zers, and not to like blanket statement, but I feel like they're just like ahead of like fuck labeling, fuck genre, like fuck gay, straight, all this
I like
shit.
what I like.
Whoever you want to be and whatever you are and however you live is cool, you know? And I feel like I'm so shocked to see an 18-year-old like raver kid come out to us like, your shit was so good. I'm like, what? Yeah, like confused with like someone else. Like, no. It's like, okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Holy.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the dissolution of labeling, I think, is one of the healthiest things that's happened in a long time. I really do.
And there's
For
so much
music, yeah.
pushback because I feel like for the people that have exploited, made their money and made their control over these boxes and these labels are now seeing the dismantling of, and now they're pushing it hard, and out comes the book bannings, out comes the banning of this, and everything that isn't this little box is bad, or they're coming for your kids, blah, 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 and all that shit.
Dude.
But, I'm happy to see the dismantling of like all these labels and the move forward,
anything that makes us as a people harder to control, I'm down.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Anything that makes
disrupt the system,
man. Like,
well, what's better than these festivals? Now, like when you're going to a festival and you're going to get to see so many different things, not just one thing. Like it's all going to be rock, which is cool. But you're going to see this, you're going to see that, you're going to see spoken word, you're going to see people performing stuff. You're gonna see everything.
It's like going to a restaurant.
And you're gonna get to meet people that you normally wouldn't meet in your like comfort zone. Especially, and I'm speaking of like being older. It's like you get really used to your comfort zone, and it's so much fun to interact with these younger people and everything because they're fucking cool, man.
Yeah,
it's like going to a restaurant and all they have is spaghetti.
I talk to a 20-year-old, I'm like, I think we're gonna be okay.
I agree.
I've had that moment too, man.
I'm so impressed with how empathetic and compassionate and like respectful, and even though they're partying and like fucking and like just getting as debaucherous as I ever was, they're doing it in a respectful, dope way. Like I'm just like, man, you're not being little shitheads. You are being shitheads to the people that need that pushback, like, but you're doing it in such clever ways that I'm like, damn, damn.
Yeah, the world's a trip, man. What's up, everybody? If you're like me and you're trying to do better for yourself and what you eat in this new year, I have something really cool for you. Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals make eating better every day way easier. Wherever tomorrow takes you, be ready with pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. You're going to have over 35 different options a week to choose from, including keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, and more. And there's even more to enjoy with over 55 nutrition-packed add-ons that help make your weekly meal planning even more delicious. What are you waiting for? Sign up and save. They've done all the math. Factor is less expensive than takeout, and every meal is dietitian approved to be nutritious and delicious. So here's what you got to do. Head to factormeals.com/NoSimpleRoad50 and use the code NoSimpleRoad50 to get 50% off your first box and 2 free wellness shots per box while subscription is active. That's code NoSimpleRoad50 at factormeals.com. Take all the guesswork out of trying to do the right thing for your body. Fuel up easy and fast. Go check out Factor.
It's cool because if you didn't do what you do for a living, Ed, you wouldn't be able to see that perspective.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that, the world opens up to you in such a way because of your travel that you really get to embrace culture truly. You're in the bar, you're in the environment, and then afterwards you're going to people's houses, you're going to the restaurants, you're going to the mini marts, right? Like you're in these kinds of experiences that doesn't keep you like at arm's length with the culture and with the people in it. You're like, running in it.
And you're like, and your feet are on the street. And I'd imagine that's like, it's interesting because I've been, and this kind of it goes off a little bit, but it's kind of related. Talking about car-centric neighborhoods as opposed to walking and biking neighborhoods, because when you're walking and biking, you're in the neighborhood. You're not just passing through it. You're in the neighborhood. You're interacting, and that is so important to challenge your own biases and thoughts. And you get to connect and you get to hear the stories, like the amount of people we talk to who have the craziest stories or the craziest lives that are so different. And we're like, I thought I might have disagreed with you, or we don't see eye to eye on sign, but now that I've heard your story or heard these stories from you, it's like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
like, yep, you're a human being just like me. So let's find a way to work this out.
Yeah.
I like that thought of what you just said about like walking and biking through a neighborhood versus driving. Because if you're walking somewhere, you're going to see something on the ground. You're more likely to pick up trash or just know that it's there. If you're driving, you don't know, you're not really connected. You're connected to what's inside of your car,
yeah.
right? Like, and getting home or getting to your next location. But if you're on the bus, if you're walking to the store, you're seeing all these little things, and it does make you part of it.
People. Yeah.
Ed, this may be a difficult question to answer, but
by all means,
coming from Canada and then crossing the border into the United States, you do have a different kind of perspective on culture in both places. What do you think that the main difference is between the U.S. and Canadians? Like when you come over here, what's the thing that you expect?
Oh man, that is a difficult question.
And if we're assholes, you can say so. It's fine.
No,
Yeah, you guys are assholes.
Some of us are.
So here's the thing I've kind of like noticed about like the difference, and I mean like the thing is that what the Canadians perceive as American or Americans is like so different for when you're actually chatting with Americans, because you're like, oh, you're not an idiot, or you're not a redneck gun-toting crazy like bigot. You're like, even when you meet those people, they're generally very nice and kind. It's just like the amount of propaganda or fear politics and fear mongering,
Stereotypes, yeah.
Yeah, and like the decisiveness of like what you watch American news compared to Canadian news, everything's a disaster. Everything's going wrong. Everything is this, and it's these people's fault, or it's these people's fault, or this and that. So of course, and then you have like, you're like defunding education, you're banning books, and then you're pointing fingers at drag queens who are coming after your children. Meanwhile, the church and Republican politicians are the one being caught with their pants down with children and shit like that. So, I feel like it's this culture war. We're being pushed by culture wars to divide.
Yeah. So
whenever I talk to Americans, honestly, I don't see much of a difference. It's only that like, there's more division, and America to me is built on violence. It's a it's a capitalist country, and Canada is too. Canada. The funniest thing, we were touring in Colorado, and this guy was like, "Where are you guys from?" And I was like, "Oh, we're from Canada." And he said he didn't like me because I was a communist Canadian. Canada is not a communist country by any means. We are very much a capitalist, but anyway, we just have more social programs than the U.S. slightly. But even then, but anyway, so I don't know. I don't want to get too long-winded, but most Americans I've talked to are lovely and amazing and just want the best things for their family and friends and them and all this. I just think that because there's way more, there's tons of misinformation in Canada too. I mean, we have a lot of problems as well, but I think there's just this movement where the working class and the poors and the people who are not millionaires are starting to see that things are super messed up and things are not working out. And then then the pushback is, well, let's pump them full of more fear. Let's start these culture wars. If it's not the hippies in the 60s and the drug war, let's make it a war on drags and queers. Let's make it a war on trans people. Let's make it a war on Muslims or this, after 9/11, like it's a culture war.
Dude.
And it's always been culture wars as they consolidate.
What you just said is I mean, if I heard this correctly, the main difference that you see is the programming that's being thrown at the American, the amount of like, brainwash
and just the
that's
conditioning
thrown
of
at
like
us. Conditioning.
big business and the idea of the elite or the billionaires, or like, because the worship of capitalism and this like rugged individualism, and this person is a billionaire, so they must deserve to be a billionaire. No billionaire deserves to be a billionaire. You cannot be an ethical billionaire. You clearly exploited someone else's labor
Along the way.
saying that there's like a $5 million profit. Whenever you see big companies like, we made $500 million profit. No, you made $500 million stolen wages. That's what you made.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's a really strange time to be alive, because the programming that's out there is so overt. It's not even,
they're not even hiding it.
Not even trying to hide.
And the thing is what's also being realized is that they never were hiding it. Somehow we just woke up from our slumber and was like, oh shit, this has been going on the whole time. Yeah. And we're still behaving like we didn't know it.
Well, and the name of the game is us versus them, right?
Yeah.
If we're us versus them, we are not paying attention to what's going on outside our little circle.
We need to unilaterally, and like, sorry to get super political.
No, it's all good, man.
I mean, music is political. We are.
Everything can be political. Truly.
Everything is political. The water we drink is political. So, but I think it's just shit. What was I guess, like, I've been getting more involved in like municipal politics in Winnipeg, and like volunteering now to find out how policies work and like how zoning works and the history. But the one thing is, like, talking to neighbors, even if we don't believe, even if they're conservative and I'm more of a left winger or a socialist or whatever, we basically want the same thing. And they're not bigots. They're not homophobes. They're not more than often. Obviously some people are, and like, but that is like, why are you this way? Do you really think this, or have you had this propaganda pushed down your throat? And generally when you get to the base level of humanity with someone, you'll find you have a lot more in common. Yeah. So what I'm trying to think about is, how do you unilaterally find connection and stop fighting with your neighbors and punch up? Because, man, those billionaires, they don't even see you as human beings. They don't. They literally think that they are genetically superior to us, anyway.
That's a good thought. How do we punch up in unison to who deserves it instead of at each other? Because really, we're quote unquote fighting with our neighbor, but we've never talked to them. Do you know what I mean by that?
You're seeing what you saw on Facebook about them.
We're like, so-and-so believes this, that, and the other, not even thinking that it could be a fucking bot. It could be a fake account. It could be some it can be BS. But now we have this like fight in our head about somebody that we don't know, that are probably total sweetheart grandparents somewhere, just taking care of their life and farming and doing their own thing. Meanwhile, we think that they're hate, gays or want to stop the trans movement. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm trying to buy rice. I'm not even paying attention to that.
At the grocery store, bro.
But you know what I'm saying? There's all these like accusations on everybody.
Absolutely.
From the trans to the conservatives to the non-political to the political. And it's like, really what's happening is we're just not talking to each other, and we're letting the outside narrative run the show.
Yeah, well, and what it boils down to.
We're just thinking, or like getting whipped up, like, even listening to people like get whipped up about like the LGBTQ. It's like, they're not grooming. They're not coming after your children. And you are not going to convince, by removing queer-centric books out of schools, you're not going to stop these kids from being gay, because guess what? They were already gay. They were born that way. Like they are that. They are not, obviously members of the band are like queer, and it's like getting to the point where I'm just like
over it.
I don't know. Yeah, like, my God, like, anyway, like, it's a culture war, and it's a genocide, or it's getting to that point. So,
But so Ed, you're seeing that and feeling that in Canada as well.
Oh yeah. And anything that happens in the US politically, it has a way of seeping up, like when Trump got elected, there were so many more people in my circle of friends being like, "Oh, I didn't realize you supported like neo-Nazi rhetoric." Oh, that's weird. Like they kind of come out of the woodwork a little bit, because when you start electing leaders that benefit from these very aggressive or extreme views, it kind of says to everyone else, "Oh, it's okay. It's okay to say these things," But
I think at the end of the day, what it all boils down to is we have to love each other.
There's not enough of that
through our differences and be kind, and that's the bottom line, man. Like. Yeah. I disagree with people all the time. People disagree with me all the time. And you know what? Totally. That's totally fine. If we all agreed with each other, this world would be fucking boring and beige, like Frank Zappa said. And it's okay. We're allowed to have different opposing viewpoints, but let's not let outside influence tell us what to think, feel, and act.
Especially when we're seeing when we're experiencing something different. Like you said, you
look at where that information is coming from. Like, look at where those influences are coming from. Yeah, do you think they have an ulterior motive or alternative motive?
Like judging people you don't even know, judging entire countries that you've never been to because of what you've heard in the news and the spin and what has been created for us, that narrative.
Yeah, man.
You know why I love live music? Why one of the things why I love it is that everyone there is there for a singular purpose to like connect.
It's the dopest shit
regardless of what you believe, it's like the great equalizer.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, after the show, we've all had an experience together that made us feel connected. That transcends anything else. And that's, like you said, it really is the great equalizer. And to be a musician, Ed, like, I get it. It's hard on the road. There's times when you want to quit. But being a musician,
I wouldn't do anything else.
It's the coolest.
Why would I do anything else?
It's the coolest thing ever, man. It really is.
Then you'd hate whatever else you were doing at home. You know what I mean? You'd have the same thing, like, oh man, the freaking office is so annoying, and what's her face always eats my Pop-Tarts or whatever. Like, it becomes something else that we get to complain about. No, do you know what I'm saying?
It becomes something else.
She does eat my Pop-Tarts.
The creativity of each human being is like what we're doing here. We're just experiencing the universe through creativity, or our world, or each other's lives through that, and that is very, very important. So I don't know.
What's the name of the new album, dude?
Oh yeah. Departures.
Oh, we're taking a departure right now.
Yeah, we are. And when's it coming out?
September 22nd.
Oh, it's coming. Like,
it's coming
soon.
Well,
there's 2 singles.
The album work looks dope too.
Thank you.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. How does that come about?
Yeah, when did you find the time to do this album?
We actually wrote this album during the pandemic on computers with each other. And then we wrote almost all of it without actually being in the room with each other.
Oh, wow.
And then we got in jammed, and I was like, man, I hope these songs sound good. And then we just worked them out and played them a lot. But that's when we had time. I don't know when we're going to have time to make another album.
It'll happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why we've been recording every live show that you can find on nugs.net.
Hell yeah.
But we've been writing a lot live, like just in jams, and we record things like, that's kind of cool. We should make a song out of that.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That seems like a really cool way to come up with new material, is like listening back to what happened in the moment that wasn't planned and letting the muse write the music for you.
We have 2 new songs actually that came about that way, that started off as a bass line groove that kicked off a jam, and then we wrote melodies in the moment, and then we were like, oh, that's kind of cool, and then maybe Tim changed up the drum beat halfway through, and we were like, oh, that's kind of cool, let's add that, and then we kind of added this other 2 chords, oh, that's kind of cool, let's add that, and blah 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 blah.
That's kind of sick.
Yeah,
that's letting the moment write the music.
Yeah. Stop thinking about the Slurpee at the end of the.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if we all learned anything,
the song being the orgasm, the Slurpee being the future reward.
But yes, if we've all learned anything, we need to slow down. This is the biggest advice for myself. I walk fast, I chew fast, I do everything fast, and I'm always trying to find a way to slow myself down in thought, in action, in enjoyment. And it's so much better when you're slower. You're less what's clumsy. When you're slower,
you don't hurt Aaron as much.
Yeah, I'm always hurting Aaron over here. I'm always tearing him up. But no, I just I wish for all of us to have a little bit more of a savory life, and when you slow down, you can savor a breath, a moment, a little bit longer.
Totally.
So if you're here in the Portland area, Apollo Suns is going to be here on October the 5th with J-Sci Proof at where?
Swan Dive.
I'm going to double check that date because I feel like I'm screwing it up.
All right.
One second.
Checking. Fact checking.
Oh, it's October 6th.
Okay.
October 6th.
October 6th.
It's the day after the 5th. It's
couple
fine.
days before my birthday.
Oh,
how many days?
2 days.
Yeah, I'm on the 8th.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah. And man, Ed, if more people thought the way that you do, I think the world would be a much better place, brother.
Oh man, that's a really nice compliment. Thank you.
I'm serious, dude. I'm not just saying that. Like we really do need to get back to just caring about each other and taking a look at what's going on, who's making the thought policies that are going on out there, and
that's really
taking our own minds back.
Kudos to you for getting involved, Ed. That's how it should be. If you're annoyed by the politics in your state and your country, do something about it.
I like what he said.
Get involved.
We've got to learn to punch up.
Yeah,
man. The punk rock kid loves that shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I think and music is all just ties into that. It's such a great way to like connect and kind of be active in your community and put your feet on the ground and just take a walk through your community.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
If there's anything that you guys need or you want us to do, just let me know, Ed. And as always, you guys got a place to crash when you come to town.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see you guys.
I know, dude.
We love having you guys.
It's one
so
of our
fun.
favorite things to host Apollo Suns at this house, for sure.
Oh, what? Come on.
No,
yeah, dude. I set the coffee machine up down here for you guys.
Even check this out. Simon, before he moved out, he said, my favorite house guest we've ever had was the Apollo Suns. First of all, they were so many people, and I didn't think that was going to be the case, but they were so respectful. They cleaned up after themselves. They made a fun vibe in the house, and I really liked having them. That was like a quote from my son.
That hated when people stayed here.
He hated it.
And he said he had he was like, I had some very deep, intelligent conversations with members from the band. There's a lot of awesome.
And he loves his shirt. He loves his
culture.
Apollo Suns shirt. He was super stoked about it. So that was straight from our kid. And he's, like I said, that was always the worst part of us was hosting people. He's like, I hate having to like act all proper and cool. Like I just woke up. I don't want to be cool,
Oh man, you don't have to be cool around people. Are always I find them like, do you guys party? I'm like, no, we want to have a conversation, smoke a joint. Let's have a deep conversation.
Yes.
And they're like, people are always I find they're either super into it or they're disappointed that we're not like partiers. Like, man, Like, let's talk about science fiction and Dune and like politics.
I'm in.
You know what, Ed? That's kind of funny because I feel like sometimes people are disappointed. Like we're always talking about like going to shows and festivals, and when people come to the house, we're chill.
Me and Mel are in bed at 8:30.
We're relaxed.
Well, and not just science, it also made an impression on Ryder because Ryder came out to your guys' show that we missed.
That's true.
He really got involved with everybody here and stuff and enjoyed the hell out of you guys.
Yeah, so we love you, and we always enjoy hosting you.
Thanks. I can't wait to see you guys.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so nice.
All right, everybody out there, hey, Apollo Suns are on Nugs.
Apollo Suns.
Like Ed said, go download their stuff, and if they come through your town, definitely
Don't
fucking
sleep
go
on
see
it.
them
Yeah.
because you're gonna be bummed later. Trust me. Buy the merch and the ticket and all that
Heck
stuff.
yeah, the merch.
Every bit helps.
Yeah. All right, Ed. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Ed,
Absolutely.
Love
it
you,
was
brother.
great seeing
Peace.
Love you too, guys. We'll see you
Love you.
soon.
Later.
you.
That is one of my favorite parts. I say this all the time about different stuff. This is one of my favorite parts about No Simple Road is forging relationships with people like Ed.
Yeah, Ed is family. And he's like another brother, and we've compared Aaron and him
Very much
quite
so.
a bit.
Yeah.
in their kind of angst.
There's a cute
And
picture I have of you and Ed in the hallway.
Really?
Hugging, being adorable little sweeties together. And you guys are twinsies. Like the
Down to
coffee,
the
just
coffee
the,
thing,
the vibe, like the hair, the
I
beard.
remember Aaron was so happy when they were here because he likes to like a lot of times you won't make an afternoon pot of coffee unless somebody else is on board. And Ed was like, yes, every time. And he's like, fuck yeah.
We had coffee running like 24/7.
I set up the coffee machine down here because of them.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, we're going to get a second pot going for them.
Yeah, it's just really cool. Like you said, part of No Simple Road is, the interview, of course. But then another part is when we actually get to host or meet the band or go to the concert or whatever. There's always something special when a band stays with us or when they visit the house. The shenanigans that we get into, the pictures that we have, the meals that we cook, the jokes that happen, and I live for that stuff. That's one of my favorite things to be able to offer our favorite people, musicians, to come hang out at the house and come be in this peaceful environment that we so luckily are able to curate.
We cultivated this.
Well, we definitely did. Like,
this vibe is highly curated.
oh, it's a look. When you walk in here, you're feeling the love,
It's
regardless
a lot of early
weather.
bedtimes made that shit happen. Like,
I think that everybody that lives here is responsible for adding just the right amount of love, interest, fun, comfort. Like we've all put our little nest, our little
Cultivated
eggs
this
in
well.
here.
I think Darwin wins for giving the most
Gives
to the
great
vibe of the house.
I mean, he gives a unsure vibe. He might love you, he might bite you.
Yeah, that's true. Wow. Typically we don't go political. We don't have political discussions, and that wasn't.
It was
too
pretty
bad.
warm.
That was lukewarm political
political
discussion. But I will say that was okay. I felt okay with that.
It's okay
Oh, yeah.
because Ed, like he said, there's queer members in the band, and when you're dealing with that, you're going to different locations. People may, treat you differently because of that.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand that until I spent some time with a good friend of ours. And
JJ.
went out with her and saw that how people look and talk to people that look different. And it was jarring. It was really jarring. So I can understand Ed's passion about it because, he's like, this is my brother, sister, family member, coworker, like, somebody that I care for.
Yeah, it's your people. You're fighting
Your people. And they don't deserve to be treated in a secondhand kind of a way. And
all
so
of
I
us
understand
are
that passion.
Are equally, what's the word I'm looking for? Like
Equal.
Well,
Human.
damn it, I can't think of the word. Oh well, we're allowed to all have love, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
We're all should have that in our lives and be treated with respect.
Well, that's what we're still all fighting for. I think
And
that's what a lot of groups are still, kind of fighting for that aspect. Like, we deserve to have, do, see, eat, sleep, work the same way as anyone else.
And talking about punching up, like, we all have to stop and realize that the media has divided us through programming. It is a concentrated effort. It's a thought crime, what's happened. And we have all been victim to it in some way or another. Some of us to extreme lengths and some of us not so much. In different places, it's varying degrees of damage that has happened to all of us through brainwashing and programming through the media in this country and others. And it's time we took a look at that for what that means for ourselves, not anybody else, but for us. What thoughts are ours and what thoughts were put there? And the only way to do that is to sit with yourself and ask yourself the difficult questions. And then you're going to figure out what's yours and what's been planted in you. There's a definite agenda out there for all of us to be at each other's throats, because if we're fighting with each other, we don't have time to punch up, like Ed said.
And we don't have time to look anywhere else. If I'm in a literal scuffle with my neighbor, I'm not paying attention what someone's doing behind my back or above my head,
Nope.
Or below my feet.
It's the literal
Look over there.
It's a literal representation of 3-card Monty mentally. It's sliding around so that you don't see what's really going on back behind the scenes. And if I'm yelling at you and worried about what you're up to, then I'm not going to see what's really doing the damage. So that's all I'm saying. Wherever you sit on the political spectrum, far right, far left, whatever the fuck, in the middle, I don't give a shit. Love each other. Take care of each other. Take a look at yourself.
Sit around.
Yeah.
Sit around. That's what I always hate. It's like you have to pick one thing, and that's the thing.
Pick it, Apple, right now.
Like you got to be this side or that side. There's no.
I'm not any side anymore.
No,
They're all full of
exactly.
shit as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yep. And it was just like Ed was saying, like we're put into this like stereotype, like, oh, if you have an American flag, then you're far right. You're far right. Or if you include BLM, then you are far left. And it's like, these people just want their kids to be able to go to school and like go to the grocery store and have a parking space and live, like simple. That's I say that simple things.
I want to be able to have a glass of water.
But then the media and everything else pumps it up like they're trying to bomb you, and every time you cross their path, they're throwing hate dust on you or something.
And when you say they, it's either side, depending on which side of the fence you're sitting on.
Exactly.
So I say
they're always the they.
Yes.
Yeah. So don't play the fucking game, man. Take yourself out the game. Yeah. That's all. It's super cool.
We are all of us.
Yeah.
Get to know your neighbors.
Yeah, get to know yourself. Hey, far out, man.
Hey, man.
All right. We love you guys and girls and whatever else is out there. You're all right. All of you. And you know what? We're going to come back next week and we're going to do it again. And then the week after, we're going to do it again and again and again. But until then,
there's a pattern there.
Take care of each other. Smile at a stranger. Safety third.
Hydrate.
Who's got our SOs? And we'll see you next week. And well, I didn't give any advice this week. We need some advice.
Slow down. You move too fast. You got to make the good times last.
Just tripping down the cobblestones, looking for fun and feeling groovy.
That's right.
But it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? One simple road. Shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well colors of fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hi, this is Paul Phelps.
And this is Monica Strutt.
And we're from the Daily Music Business Podcast. We're joined by a number of other really great hosts in creating daily content with great advice for independent musicians just like you.
That's right. We put out episodes daily on all topics from music marketing to branding, advice on signing with a manager and label, and anything else you need to up-level the business side of your music career. We've got it covered.
Subscribe to the Daily Music Business Podcast today on your favorite podcast catcher.
Subscribe today to the Daily Music Business Podcast on your favorite podcast platform.